Did nobody tell Joe Rogan what Trump was going to do?
Insane. Yeah. We were told there would be no. Well, there's two things that are insane. One is the targeting of migrant workers, not cartel members, not gang members, not drug dealers, just construction workers showing up in construction sites and raiding them.
It's like, I'm genuinely wondering what the point is here. You know, I have no idea. Like, what audience are you trying to appeal to with this?
Gardeners.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Or Palestinian students on college campuses. Or not, like, there's a did you see this video of this Turkish students at Tufts University that wrote an essay, and then there's a video of, like, ICE agents, like, I don't know.
Is that the woman?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was her essay about? It was just critical of Israel, right?
Just critical of Israel, yeah.
Didn't he invite Bernie recently? I think he's whitewashing himself. The media, it's not time for the swing back yet. The media is still very firmly in the right wing's grasp. At some point, Joe Rogan will capitulate and, like, grift back over to the left and say, you know, oh, I didn't know it was going to be that bad, or Trump betrayed us when he said X or Y. You know, he's going to do that bullshit. But it doesn't make sense to do it right now, so why even talk about this? Not for the traditional media, but Rogan isn't traditional media. There's some truth to that. In terms of... So, Rogan was 100% bought. Sometime in, I don't know, 2022, 2023. It was something in response to COVID, right? Or he determined that it was a good strategy to appeal to these, like, largely right-wing conspiracy types. He did move to Texas, yeah. The reason the mainstream media capitulates overwhelmingly to the right is because of legacy connections. It's because of corporate ties. It's because of sponsorships. It's because of who's friends with who. Real old money shit, you know? The New York Times doesn't go to bat for Israel because Israel pays them a bunch of money. The New York Times goes to bat for Israel because the people who work at the New York Times have their hands in a bunch of pockets, they're friends with a bunch of people, they're well-connected media moguls. So it's not necessarily about the money. For Joe Rogan, it might be more the money. I don't think that Joe Rogan has ties to Lockheed or Boeing or Palantir, you know? I think that Joe Rogan's largely in it for himself. He's self-interested, like most people who are, you know, gallivanting along with Trump. And he is maybe a little bit more susceptible to changes in the wind? Maybe? Perhaps?
I mean...
And that's enough to get you kicked out of the country.
I mean, there's a long history of anti-colonial activism in U.S. colleges, you know, that led to you know, South Africa changing and all of that. And I think this is a continuation of that.
Insane.
I need to see that talk that he had with Bernie. I'm kind of curious what the tone of it was. Okay, this guy's not right-wing. The guy he's talking to? Probably not. Probably not, no. You get a bunch of articles like this. His guest, Amjad Masad, the Palestinian founder and CEO of the coding platform Replit, agreed. Huh. Interesting. I guess there's always going to be an anti-establishment bias. It's difficult to be Joe Rogan and to have an audience that's full of, like, disaffected, weed-smoking dipshit libertarians and to keep glazing the current administration. Even when he glazed Elon Musk, he was doing it more in a, like, he's going to take the deep state to task thing. As embarrassing as it was, there was still an attempt to frame it, to rhetorically frame it in that way. And I get, it's pretty difficult to do that with Trump these days. It's pretty difficult to do that with Trump when he's the president, no one challenges him, and if they do, he crushes them. And he's going after, like, undocumented immigrants. Wokeness is coming back for real. We're a while away from the real pushback. We're a while away. Though, I mean, at least according to that garbage YouGov data, it seems like young people are shifting over pretty rapidly. I don't know. Not sure about that. Everybody's a lib, though. I'm trying to think. What do you think a woke shift back would look like? Because the problem with the original wokeness wave in the first term of Trump is that it was defined by corpo speak. Microaggressions and triggers, HR departments teaching you about how to be sensitive towards people's cultural differences. The language of wokeness in the beginning was very, very, very corporate. It was very determined by those, you know, those top floor consultant types. Buzzwords, a lot of performative offense. One of the reasons I like the dark woke stuff is that normal progressive people, like regular day-to-day people, are also edgy. Nobody wants to be PC. Nobody, no human. Who wants to carefully regulate what they say and what they think to perfectly adhere to this incredibly complicated set of expectations? Nobody wants that. People want to be able to say stuff like, I know not everyone wants to, and that's fine. Don't try to like one-up me, but like people like saying and the F slur, which I say all the time in real life, but I can't because of YouTube. People like, you know, being edgy, and people like being the dark woke stuff. Oh, I hope you die. Oh, this, oh, that. People are like that. In normal, like, day-to-day life, people are like that. People have always been like that. That's not a modern thing. That's not a South Park thing. That's not a Family Guy thing. It's not a modern trend, you know? People just like doing that. It's cathartic, and life is hard, and people want to express their aggravation in a way that isn't like gritted teeth PC bullshit. Maybe that's what's going on. I, for one, have noticed that a lot of people are taking the gloves off when it comes to leftism. The Democrats like to say that they get saddled with, like, they have to answer for every crazy leftist. But I think in a way, it's the other way around. The left is forced to answer for all of the bullshit, corpo-speak, Democrat, wokeness, Hillary Clinton nonsense, you know? Like, because I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to be associated with Hillary Clinton asking how Medicare for all would address the struggles of black and brown minorities. I'm nowhere near that shit. You know? I think it goes both ways, but I think it goes more our way because the left's behavior, the left, I'm saying very broad, the left here, but the left, you know, is authentic. It's an expression of real beliefs and thoughts. Whereas the Democrats' weaponization of IDPOL was corpo bullshit from the beginning. It was always consultant speak. You know what I mean? So I think in a way we have the stronger claim here. The next wokeness wave cannot be defined by corpo speak. We cannot allow that to mark the moment again. And listen, okay? I'm not one of those guys who will pretend to you that PC cancel culture was out of control 5 to 10 years ago. It was annoying. So is life. Okay? But there were real human beings, real people who were taken in by the false power that language gives you. The ability to use, to weaponize your offense and beleaguer people with it, to make it their problem. There were lots and lots and lots of people who did that. Yeah, woke scolding stuff. Like, it's important to remember, man, woke scolding as a concept is pretty new. Versions of purity testing have always existed. You could go back a million years and Grug thinks that, like, you know, Bug needs a shinier rock before he gets into the cave. There are always going to be people like that, okay? But the very specific, like, Western leftist woke scolding, or maybe not leftist, I guess, liberal to left, that's a relatively new thing. In severity, in frequency, I don't know. What woke wave, Vosh? America is now in the cyberpunk timeline. There's no going back, baby. What America do you want to live in? An America that's ravaged and still somehow fiercely conservative, despite the fact that conservatives were the ones that ravaged it? Or do you want to build in the rubble with other lefties? You know? Like, the culture to me is more important. I don't know about you guys, but, and I mean this, and I'm saying this as a very privileged person, I recognize that, but I would rather live in a country whose people are based, but materially in a bad situation, than in a country that has everything money-wise, but is anti-based. And to that, I would say, like, the juxtaposition between, like, a poor queer neighborhood versus Dubai. To me, that's an easy answer. I need more nuance, but I broadly agree. So Brazil, lol. Yeah, sure, Brazil. There will be a whiplash, is what I'm saying. It's important that we define it aggressively. So aggressively, man. That dark woke shit needs to stay. I really hope that it does. Have you noticed more biphobia online lately? I think this is very much like an online thing, because in real life, if you're a person and you say, I like having sex with both men and women, and you're at like Pride or whatever, no one cares. Well, they're like, woo! But online, there are people, you know, listen, biphobia was invented by bitter lesbians who are mad that the women they have crushes on end up falling for guys. All right? Don't fall for the psyop. Lesbians are grumpy online. Frankly, given what they have to deal with, I think they should get a little bit of leeway. Okay? There are lesbian trans women who use Grindr. Do you have any idea what kind of psychic damage they're dealing? Any dating app. So I'm saying, like, give them a little bit of leeway to be aggravating, because they have to deal with a lot. They're always transphobes. That's not necessarily true. There are lots of non-transphobic, annoying lesbians online. No, too many lesbians have made trans women's life miserable. Stop falling for bait. Lesbian women are literally the most trans-positive group there is, as evidenced by any interaction with lesbians. Most biphobia I see is from straight women, not gonna lie. Yeah, towards guys. But I would never, ever date a straight woman, man. I couldn't imagine.